4radio.com.
Rodeo Silver was founded in 1997. Our goal today remains the same as it was back then, to provide you, our customer, with a quality custom buckle at an affordable price. From 1 to 100, our buckles are all made one at a time by hand. Our only limit is your imagination. Give us a call today at 800-550-7535 and let us help you design your next trophy buckle. That's Rodeo Silver, Llano, Texas. Find us on Facebook or at TrustRioSilver.com. Proud to be part of She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls.
Rebecca Lawler Limited is the culmination of a lifelong dream for philanthropist and designer Rebecca Lawler. She designed her patented, unique glass heart, which is handcrafted by glass artists in Virginia. Placed in the center is a brilliant gem. The heart can be worn with the Rebecca Lawler Limited signature ribbon or an awareness ribbon of choice. To join the mission of the Hearts of Hope Foundation and add a Rebecca Lawler signature heart to your own personal style, go to RebeccaLawlerLimited.com. That's RebeccaLawlor Limited.com.
American Hat Company is known throughout the world as the hat preferred by rodeo champions, ranchers, everyday cowboys, cowgirls, and rodeo fans. From the arena to the boardroom, no one does it better. Handmade in Bowie, Texas, American hats are made with tradition in the old-fashioned way. From the finest in felts to the best in straws, there is an American hat for every occasion. The CB Cowgirls are proud to have our ambassadors wearing the #1 hat in the world. Thank you, American Hat. Find your own American hat at your favorite retailer. American Hats, handcrafted since 1915.
She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls is proud to have as our charity of choice Man Up Crusade. Man Up is working in the Western world to reduce domestic violence in society and contribute to social change by promoting safe and healthy relationships. Growing up in a violent home is one of the most terrifying and traumatic experiences a child can go through. Let's work together to help those afflicted to stand and know they're not alone. Find out more at manupcrusade.com. Take a stand and break the cycle of domestic violence.
This is 4Radio, a media platform used to elevate voices and empower dreams.
All right, rodeo fans, it's time for She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. Introducing your host, Becky Christensen, and co-host Vicki Christensen O'Shields. Presented to you by Boyd Gaming. Hey, let's ride.
Well, good evening and welcome to our broadcast. This is your host, Becky Christensen Mapson. I just want to say thank you so much if you are tuning in tonight. I hope everyone is having a great start to the week. I know it's been a busy weekend for many of us, and Mondays tend to sometimes be a little bit hard to get moving and going, but that's why we like to bring our show to you on Monday nights to give you a little kick and some fun and great stories, and just hope you get started and have a great rest of the week. So with that being said, I want to welcome to the show my co-host, Miss Vicki Christensen O'Shields. Vicki, are you there?
I am, Becky. Good evening, everyone.
And also I want to welcome to the show our guest co-host and our beautiful Ms. U.S. Ambassador for She's Gone Country to CB Cowgirls, Bobby Jean Olson. Bobby Jean, are you there?
Hello, my lovely. Super excited and honored to be on the show with all of you this evening.
Well, we're getting pretty good about being consistent, so I know it may not always last. I know, Bobby Jean, you're going to be busy, and Aunt Vicki, you're going to be running, and I'll be running, but we try to all three get together as much as we can, as frequently as we can on Mondays, and bring a great show to our listeners. Aunt Vicki, before we get started, I wanted to have you really quick touch a little bit on, you had a fun event that you went to this weekend. Share with our listeners where you were this weekend.
Absolutely, would love to, Becky. Such a real privilege to be in Fredericksburg, Texas for the 8th Annual Hill Country Film Festival. And we were actually the location for the Texas premiere of Floating Horses, The Life of Casey Tibbs. And, of course, Becky and Maria and Bobby Jean, you all know that Justin Kohler has been a guest on our show, several years ago. And then we had him on stage live with us at Mandalay Bay year before last with the trailer that he had put together. This documentary was totally breathtaking. It is a project. I'm searching for words because it's so special. It is a project and something that everyone in the world of rodeo can be so proud of because it covers our history and it covers a really great all-around champion, and that's Casey Tibbs. We had a great time.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I know the cast that came in and for instance, Cole Elsher was Casey Tibbs in his younger years, and I thought it was really great because it really did bridge the generations and put that those generations together to really showcase the history as well as our current generation. I thought that was really awesome. So I'm glad that you got to be a part of it.
Well, thank you, Becky. And the one last thing I want to touch upon, of course, is that, there were so many rodeo greats that shared their stories of Casey. Deb Copenhaver, our very own Gail Warner, whom we just adore, were just a couple of them. Stephen Ford, who looked upon Casey as a father image while his dad, Gerald, was in the White House. There was just so many aspects of Casey and who he was. So anyway, it was a great time. I hope everyone has the chance to see this film when it becomes more readily available to the public. It was a great time.
Hey, Becky, I have one quick question for you. You had the honor, Tres Rios had the honor of replicating his world champion buckle. Tell us the feeling about getting to do this. It had to have been spectacular.
Oh, Bobby Jean, thank you. It truly was. It was something very special. It was an added bonus to be able to recreate that 1955 World Champion buckle. And all of us at Tres Rios Silver, Brett Keeley, Richard Cobb, Pee Wee, whom, all of us love, he worked on it. And we're just honored as a family, all of us, the Tres Rios family, to be able to contribute to Justin's great project. So it was great fun, Bobby Jean, and thank you again for asking.
Thank you for all you do.
Well, I appreciate both you ladies, and we have a really fantastic show tonight. We have some great guests coming on, and I'm excited to get them on the air with us. But I did want to touch really quickly. I want to send prayers out to those that have been hit by the tornadoes in Texas. I read an article earlier today that was passed on to me regarding a trailer that was picked up by a tornado and traveled up from Texas or Oklahoma to Kansas. They landed safely. Just crazy things going on. And then, of course, our dear team member and friend, Bill McRoberts, he's way up in North Alaska toward the Canada border, and they just were hit with a 6.2 magnitude earthquake up there. So, we always talk about the weather when we get going. So I'm going to talk about the weather and how it's affecting those around us. And we just wanted to send our prayers out to Bill and Cheryl. I know that they're okay. But if you're listening,
Amen.
We are very happy to hear that you're doing okay and get home safely. That's what we had to say about that. Anyway, so with that being said, the great thing about the rodeo world is we can be in Alaska, we can be here where I'm in Washington, Vicki and Bobby Jean down south. We have friends all over this great country. And so the guests that we're bringing on tonight are just two more great ladies in the Western world, and this great lifestyle that we lead and live and love. And they're doing really great, powerful things down in their neck of the woods, which is in Florida. So I want to bring to the show, I know we have one of them with us right now, and then the other will be joining us hopefully soon. But right now I want to welcome, many know her as the face behind Women in Rodeo, and she has branched off and is doing many, many things. But I want to welcome to the show Heather Cannon. Heather, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's very pleasure to have you on, and happy that you were able. I know we've been working on this a couple of weeks, so bear with me. I know that we're a little bit behind the gun because you've been busy, we've been busy, but I'm just glad we finally got a date to work and have you come on. Yeah. You are really, really busy down in Florida, and one of the things that I wanted to touch on before we get really into more behind the vision of Women in Rodeo, I want to touch on just really quick the Ram National Circuit Finals. We know those happened last month in April, and you were an intricate part of that and got to really work with the committees down there and the marketing companies down there. How is the Ram National Circuit Finals doing down in Florida since they've made their move?
We have watched it grow over the last 3 years, and Kelly, when she joins us later, she's had a huge part in helping with that. But it has continued to grow. I see excitement and movement behind it, and I'm very proud to be part of it and to have it right here in Florida. I always say, a lot of people don't know that we have a rich cowboy culture here in Florida, and that's what drew this rodeo to our neck of the woods, as you said. So I'm loving it, and I can't wait to see it grow. We have 7 more years.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, because they did sign a 10-year contract. Yeah. And, I've pronounced it completely wrong from the get-go, and let's see if I can get it right. It's in Kissimmee, Florida. Is that correct? Is that my pronouncing it correctly?
That's right. Kissimmee. That's right. That is commonly pronounced incorrectly.
Yeah. Well, and I have to. This is Vicki, and I have to laugh about that because I pronounced it incorrectly for years, and finally, we were building some buckles one day at Tres Rios for Kissimmee Sports Arena, and that's when I finally learned to say it right.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh goodness. Well, I do know that Heather, we do have Kelly on the line. So Kelly, are you there with us?
I'm here.
Hi, Kelly. Everybody, this is Kelly Trace, and she is and I'm going to see if I get this correctly, a marketing strategist with Reach. Is that correct?
Yes, that's a fancy term for a CEO.
So you are the main woman behind all that happens down there in the Florida area with, the Ram National Circuit Finals, but also you guys both are very active with the Silver Spurs Rodeo. So, Kelly, tell me a little bit about how you became involved on the rodeo aspect side of things with your marketing company.
Well, I started Reach about 3 years ago, and a lot of what, Reach was born because I really wanted to be able to do my own thing and teach a lot of small business owners and nonprofits about what inbound marketing really is. And, the future of being able to convert, leads for your event or leads for your business is really going to be online. And when you come from a small town, that is like Greek to them. They're just like, what? We don't know. We've only leaned on our newspaper or, I've bought one online ad and that kind of thing. And the spring of 2015, I had just been open a year, and I had a team of 5 people. And I got a phone call that the Silver Spurs Rodeo was looking for a marketing firm, and they kind of sent out a list of everything that they were looking for. And I've been going to the Silver Spurs Rodeo my whole life. I mean, I grew up to my backyard, but when we went to the rodeo, it was to kick back with a few girlfriends and have a good time. And it wasn't as much, I didn't know much about the sport, so I kind of I hate that I did this because I'm not usually afraid or I don't usually want to turn down business, but I just didn't know if it was a great fit for me because a lot of what they were looking for was traditional marketing, and that just really wasn't where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in the digital space, and they were like, well, show us what you want to do. And I gave them my full pitch, and they just renewed our contract for another year, so this will be our 3rd year of rodeos. So that's when I got hired too. I was hired 30 days before the actual rodeo happened. So that was a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, no pressure.
And knowing what I know now about rodeo and going back to that day, I think it was just like, to God be the glory, because it was nonstop. I didn't know anything about the sport itself, like scoring or the events or any of that. But what I did know is that I was a spectator and I was a target audience, and I really tried to just use that as an example of what my friends would like to see, or, it's a fun night out. Who cares if they understand every single aspect of the sport,
Right.
So it ended up being really good insight.
Wow. Well, this is Vicki, and, what you've been talking about goes back to the question I had on my mind, and that was, what ran through your mind when, you're 30 days out, this is a huge production, and you're like, oh, Lord, please, help me, I'm here, what do I do? What was your first move, 30 days out, to kick this thing off and get the ball rolling?
My first question was if they had any data from like previous years, like, are you measuring yourself? Do you know what works? Do you know what doesn't work? And, they didn't have a lot of that. So we definitely made sure moving forward that we were going to be able to have data to make better decisions off of, because, for all I know, the newspaper works great. And in my mind, I'm a digital marketer. So I'm like, well, the newspaper is dying, but that's not the case, because we one of the things that we do with every client when we first start is we come up with what are called buyer personas. And buyer personas are like your ideal customers. And so for the rodeo, one of our ideal customers is 60-year-old retired Richard and Rose, you know, and we name them. They have real biographies. We talk about them in the office like they're real people because we want to resonate with what their lifestyle is so that we can attempt to reach them. And I think that first 30 days, that was my very first step was, you know, I wanted to use the data to try to figure out who the buyers were, but at the same time, I needed to use my instincts and feelings to figure out, okay, if I'm retired Richard and Rose, where am I getting my information from? If I'm date night Daniel and Danielle, you know, they're a little younger, looking for unique date nights, you know, more likely to find it on Groupon or something like that. You know, where are they getting their information? And then, you know, the Silver Spurs has 300-400 members that are active, and you know, where are they getting their information from? Because they're going to be the people who are going to be sharing the information that we're putting out there. Right. But to be honest with you, as stressed as I was, probably one of the best things about being involved in the rodeo world is that these people are the most kind-hearted people. You know, they embraced me for who I was. You know, I showed up to my first meeting in Chuck Taylor tennis shoes and my skinny jeans, and they were just like, "Oh, girl, we'll help you. Don't you worry," you know. But I mean, I'm a creative. That's my nature. I was just like, I want to help. I want to figure this out with you. And you know, they just love me for who I am. And I'm grateful for that. That they don't judge me when I get something wrong, and that, you know, and I still do. I mean, even in the 2.5 years that I've been working with them, and rodeo in general, I mean, I still miss things. You know, I'm human. And
well, we all do, but you're doing something very right, you know, and it's a great thing. We're, you know, just
thank you.
So happy to have you.
Thank you.
Well, ladies, we're going to take a quick commercial break and station identification. When we come back, we're going to speak more with our guests, and I want to talk about the conference that you guys put on together down there and what went on behind that, and we're going to really dive into all about women empowerment and rodeo in the Western world and the roots that we all love and come from. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
4radio.com.
All of us here at Tres Rios Silver are proud to offer a complete award lineup from saddles, tack, and all in between. Tres Rios is your one-stop shop. Give the shop a call today to discuss your association award needs with one of our family design staff. And don't forget to shop online with us for that special gift. Our new online store features beautiful jewelry, tees, caps, and much more. Proud to be part of She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. That's Tres Rios Silver, Llano, Texas. Find us on Facebook or at tresriosilver.com.
Abraham, David, John the Baptist, and Jesus were all seeking a wilderness experience when they would flee to the desert. Join a Higher Ascent for a one-day or multi-day wilderness experience where we seek God in the stillness. Visit us at higherascent.com.
In today's busy world, it's nice to know that help is just a moment away. Andrea at Rodeo Spot Marketing is your one-stop shop, full-service web and graphic design service, along with photo projects, printing services, marketing, and promotional. Let their staff take the stress off you and put a smile on your face. Always creative, always competitive priced, always working for you. That's Rodeo Spot Marketing. Find them at rodeospot.com. Tell Andrea the CB Cowgirls sent you. She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls is proud to have as our charity of choice Man Up Crusade. Man Up is working in the Western world to reduce domestic violence in society and contribute to social change by promoting safe and healthy relationships. Growing up in a violent home is one of the most terrifying and traumatic experiences a child can go through. Let's work together to help those afflicted to stand and know they're not alone. Find out more at manupcrusade.com. Take a stand and break the cycle of domestic violence.
4radio.com.
Welcome back to She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls. This is your host, Becky Christensen Mapston, and I'm joined tonight with my co-host, Vicki Christensen O'Shields, and our guest co-host and ambassador for She's Gone Country, Bobby Jean Olson. Ladies, thank you so much for giving some time to us this evening and spending it with our guests and just having a great evening tonight. We've got two really great ladies on tonight, and I'm really excited about the collaboration that they've done recently. On the first half of the show, we talked a little bit about how they were involved in the Ram National Circuit Finals and the Silver Spurs Rodeo. But I want to welcome back to the show from Women in Rodeo, Heather Cannon, and from Marketing Strategist from Reach, Kelly Trace. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I want to visit just a few minutes. I loved hearing, Kelly, your story of how you got involved with the Silver Spurs Rodeo and just rodeo in general. And I love, Heather, we've listened or read your bio before the show started, and I'll let you touch on it a little bit. And then I want to kind of go into how you guys collaborated on your women's conference down there during the National Circuit Finals. But, Heather, you have a background in the Western world, and it's your roots, and it's where you came from. And I love that fact, and I love the fact that, Kelly, you stepped into it and you were welcomed into it, because that's just kind of how the Western folks are. It's the code of the West. It's that unwritten code that we just, we welcome everybody no matter where they come from. And so, Heather, share with our listeners a little bit about your background, and then if you would, tell me how you two came together to collaborate on this great women's conference that you put on during the Ram National Circuit Finals.
Well, I have to say that I don't know that I have deep roots in rodeo. I grew up going to the local sheriff's posse. Never rode in a rodeo. I did do what they called the buddy pickup. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But I did the buddy pickup with my friends. But I never did barrels or anything like that. And then I went quite a few years without even owning a horse or having a horse. And have luckily in the last couple of years we have two beautiful quarter horses again, and so I'm excited about that. But I did jump back in about 3 years ago. Go ahead.
Well, no, I have to say, but if I read correctly, you were involved with 4-H and FFA and hunting and fishing, so you were still raised in the Western world.
Very true. Very true. Very true. Yes, 4-H and FFA and hunting and fishing was always a part of my life, still very much so. We go hunting every year. We have a hunting camp up in North Florida. But then I jumped into Western wear fashion consulting for a little while, and then eventually had Women in Rodeo. So that's kind of how everything fell in place for me. And I've always loved this industry and been passionate about it, even though I'm in Florida. So Kelly and I, Kelly, when did we initially talk? I know I reached out to you about coming, I think, to Silver Spurs for media credentials. Was that how that happened?
I think it was during the Miss Silver Spurs pageant in June, 2 years ago. Okay.
And Kelly and I have just really grown and talked. She's been great to me and very helpful, getting me in the door here and helping me to build relationships. And the conference happened by accident this year. I actually contacted Kelly for her feedback on having a small Women in Rodeo retreat. It was going to be like a little weekend thing with 10 girls. And Kelly said, well, why don't you have it in conjunction with the RNCFR? And by the way, that's in 2 months. So I had 2 months to do it all together.
I just wanted you to feel a little bit of what I felt, getting into rodeo.
No pressure.
So that's how that all started. Yeah.
Well, and I would be very clear that I wouldn't even call it a collaboration. I mean, that was Heather's baby. She built it. She did all the hard working. If I did anything, it was just encourage her to keep going. When you're planning something like that, you can get knocked down pretty fast. And, fortunately, like we've been saying, the rodeo world is full of people who will just support you and love you no matter what you're going through and what you're trying to build, and they want to be a part of it and support you. So,
absolutely. Well, and I did that for me.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I find really fascinating about not only the Western world, but women in general, and I think, Bobby Jean, you can attest to this, we all work together to empower and encourage everybody and lift each other up. There really isn't any of the, turn your back from people. You want to help them, you want to encourage them, you want to make them the best. I know how important a brand is, and I wanted to touch on that for a little bit because I know, we're working on our brand. Bobby Jean, you have your brand, and ladies, Women in Rodeo, you have yours, and you're starting your new company, Heather Branded C Marketing. So, branding is really important, and I wanted to talk on that for just a few minutes about so our listeners understand what goes behind coming up with a brand. So go ahead, Heather, go ahead. I'll let you start.
Well, as far as coming up with a brand, I think the biggest thing to do, it depends on what your business is, but for me, it's important to know who you are, to be you, and to, Kelly talked about knowing your personas. I call them my avatars. So who you want to reach out to, who are your people? So like, for instance, for the branding of the conference, my avatars were barrel racers and new business owners, fashion bloggers. You had to know who your target audience is. That's my starting point for building a brand. Kelly, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think your brand really needs to reflect your reputation, right? And what you feel like you stand for and what message you're trying to send. The big companies don't sit down and think about a new name or a new look without considering, all of those things. And then there's probably some more practical applications like, is your brand going to be seen really small most of the time? Is it going to be blown up really huge most of the time? I mean, when you think of like what Coca-Cola's logo looks like compared to like Ram, Ram's logo is small, large, it's on the front of cars. Coca-Cola, most of the time, their brand is pretty small, so it needs to be able to be read in that way the majority of the time. So there's some more practical capabilities when you think about your brand and how it's applied to different things. But, I'm more talking about like the look. I'm a graphic designer by nature.
Right.
And so that's probably why I took the question there. But yeah, I mean, everything that Heather said, I would agree with too. Just like, if you think about what do you want people to get from your brand? My brand is reach, and my purpose is to help people build brands that other people love by reaching the people that they're trying to get in touch with. And instead of everybody, it's a little bit more strategic in that way. And it's orange, which is my favorite color. Heather knows everything is orange in my life. But
turquoise.
I chose orange because it's always happy. There's really no way for orange to be, sad or, my husband says that it means warning, here she comes. But I think that, my design is more modern. I think the oldest person that works for us is like 33. So, we're more of a younger crowd. So I think all of those things have to be reflected in your brand so that when people show up to your office or start to work with you, they're not surprised by what they see. And the best example of that is like in restaurant design. If you see a logo for a restaurant, you don't want to see that restaurant and then walk in there and it be something completely different. And you want to give your customers and potential customers that same experience.
And voice too. Think of what you want your brand voice to be, what you want people, and the best way I describe that is, how do you want people to think of you? That's how you want people to think of your brand. So like, think of the top 3 words you would want people to describe you by. So whether you're compassionate or, inspirational, what are those 3 key words that you want people to describe you with?
Love it. And Vicki, I know you've gosh, with as many businesses as you've had and ran successfully, you've had to come up with some brand yourself. And I think we all have had a dabble a little bit in it, and it's really interesting to learn who your target audience is and who you really are trying to appeal to. But I think, it's fun, it's interesting, it's definitely trial and error, and you definitely learn and grow from it as you hone in who that really is. Wouldn't you agree, Aunt Vicki?
Well, absolutely, Becky, and, kudos to you girls, because you're bringing in a whole new audience, a whole nother thought process. But having been, I don't know, perhaps, I'm over 60, so perhaps being a pioneer in the marketing and branding, I just discovered throughout the years, after 25 years in the trophy buckle business and now, working with Becky on this project, I've just discovered that we always have to evolve as a woman, and we have to approach and embrace all different age brackets, and that's where we truly find ourselves. And we're so honored to have you girls in the business doing what you do. It's fantastic, and honored to be able to visit with you tonight.
Daddy, where do babies come from? Well, honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, Sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Well, thank you. That means a lot.
Well, and I'm just curious, too. I know we're running out of time, and we're going to have to wrap this up soon. But, Heather, you really have found your target in that Women in Rodeo, and I really see you doing a lot of marketing for the cleaning industry and the barrel, like you said, your target market. What do you have, I guess, what would you say one of your greatest memories so far has been working with all these different women? Do you have one in particular?
Oh, goodness. That's hard. You know, you're going to make me cry. You're going to make me cry.
Oh.
I had the honor of judging the Royal Review Rodeo Queen Jackpot, and these girls, they mean the world to me, and the hugs and the warmth from them, and then the follow-up thank you cards that I continue to get now. I cry like on a weekly basis from their sweet and kind words, and to me, that's what it's all about. It's about building relationships, and that's why I love this industry. It's the warmth, and it's the women, and it's not just the barrel racers. I've had some really beautiful thank you notes from some of the barrel racers too. Many of those are out of the California circuit. Those girls, I did some interviews with them, and they were really great about sending me thank you cards. So I think those are my touching moments.
Heather, this is Bobby Jean, and
Yes, ma'am.
I've been following you on social media, and I see your name pop up everywhere throughout people that I am connected with. And one thing I see about what you're doing, you're always touching lives in such a positive way. You're promoting the Western lifestyle. You are promoting the Western lifestyle and rodeo, but you're also touching lives as you're going along. And that just says so much for the person that you are. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I know that we could. Well, and I know, Heather, and if anybody hasn't had a chance, follow these gals on Facebook. I know, Heather, you've got a new Facebook page for your marketing company, but of course there's Women in Rodeo, there's Branded Sea Marketing, and Kelly, do you have a Facebook page for your Reach marketing company if anyone's looking for someone in your area for marketing?
Yeah, the handle that we usually stick with is It's Just Reach, because when I first started Reach, everyone would call it Reach Media or Reach Marketing, but it's just Reach, just by itself. So that's kind of where we landed.
To just clarify, too, we both have some marketing going on, but we have total different things. Kelly,
Yeah,
it's totally different. Mine, I'm sticking to more like the video type stuff and promotional videos. So it is a marketing, but it's totally different.
Well, and I think there's a big space especially in digital marketing now, and the content involvement and what goes into that there's room for everybody. And I think that, as you said, Heather, it's all about relationships, and we build those relationships and we build that trust with people, and that's how our clientele base goes. And I think you guys are doing a great job. I really wish we had some more time to sit here and visit, but Heather, I've been wanting to connect with you for some time. I'm glad that we were finally able to do it. Kelly, it was a pleasure to meet you. I'm gonna say goodnight to our audience and to you guys, and I'm going to turn over to my Aunt Vicki and to Bobby Jean to close out. So, Bobby Jean, I'll let you say goodnight, and then Aunt Vicki, I'll let you wrap it up. Ladies, thank you so much, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Well, Kelly and Heather, again, thank you so much for being a part of the show this evening, and thank you both for what you do to promote rodeo and the Western lifestyle and touch lives along the way. God bless you, and hope to meet you guys soon.
Thank you so much, Becky, Maria, our producer. Girls, thank you so much for being with us tonight and sharing your stories and your ideas and your hope for the future. We appreciate it. Listeners, we just want to say God bless you all. We love you. And we're going to close out this evening's program with our favorite cowgirl and a little cowgirl logic. Thank you, Miss Crystal Lyons. We love you. Good night, everyone.
Hi, I'm Crystal Lyons, and I got this pit bull that was raised in the city as a house pet. She has no idea what she actually is, and I'm glad about that. We used pit bulls to catch wild cattle on river bottoms where the brush was too thick to swing a rope, and I've seen pits do some wild things when it comes to catching and holding something many times their size. They are truly awesome dogs when in their rightful environment, devastating when they're in an environment they were never meant for. And when it comes to hog hunting, nothing beats a pit bull or a pit bull cross. Well, one of my jogs over ranch land, I came up on some 3 pretty good-sized wild hogs. She had no idea what to think about that. We jogged by cattle, and if one cow snorts at her, she hightails it out of the cow's way. She absolutely has no idea what she's made of. It's never entered into her mind that she has all the makings to dominate any animal out there on the ranch. She hasn't the faintest clue what she's capable of. As I was contemplating this, it dawned on me, that's us, the body of Christ. The DNA of God is flowing in the veins of every believer in Jesus. We're the sons and daughters of the Most High God. He's given us His Spirit to enable us to overcome every obstacle that would hinder what God would have us do, and yet we, like her, can be backed off as easily as a cow blowing snot at us. My pit bull sees herself more like a chihuahua. The children of Israel were conquerors who saw themselves as grasshoppers, and we're children of the King who see ourselves like beggars. Maybe we need to be educated on who we really are. So, are you a pit bull or a chihuahua? I'm Crystal Lyons, and this is Cowgirl Logic. For more, go to cowgirllogic.net.
Rebecca Lawler Limited is the culmination of a lifelong dream for philanthropist and designer Rebecca Lawler. She designed her patented, unique glass heart, which is handcrafted by glass artists in Virginia. Placed in the center is a brilliant gem. The heart can be worn with the Rebecca Lawler Limited signature ribbon or an awareness ribbon of choice. To join the mission of the Hearts of Hope Foundation and add a Rebecca Lawler signature heart to your own personal style, go to RebeccaLawlerLimited.com. That's RebeccaLawlor Limited.com.
Tres Rios Silver was founded in 1997. Our goal today remains the same as it was back then, to provide you, our customer, with a quality custom buckle at an affordable price. From 1 to 100, our buckles are all made one at a time by hand. Our only limit is your imagination. Give us a call today at 800-550-7535 and let us help you design your next trophy buckle. That's Tres Rios Silver, Llano, Texas. Find us on Facebook or at TresRiosSilver.com. Proud to be part of She's Gone Country with the CB Cowgirls.
forradio.com.
Join me, Rebecca Christensen Mapston, in real time for real topics on Real Talk with Rebecca on forradio.com.